Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. Today's date is August 28th, 2025. And of course, you see the title, our NFL season preview special 2025 season. Of course, this coming season. Very excited. We're 1 week away from the NFL start of the season. Thursday night, the defending champion Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys, and then I think Friday night, Chargers and Chiefs from um, Brazil, and then um, Sunday night we got Bills, Ravens, a lot of big games um, to open up the week. We really gonna focus on week one next week. That's why I'm gonna do the special today. We're gonna touch on all 32 teams. So you could be a fan of any team. You're going to hear about your team, my opinion on your team, where I think they will finish. Um, I pick all the playoff teams. I pick who I think is going to make it to the Super Bowl and the championship games in each conference. MVP, I'm going to predict it all. So this is our big show. We do this every year. We've been doing it for the last few years. I think I did it last year. I usually do it with the right of the week of the season, but I'm doing it a week early. First, I thought, I'd do it this week because I know I had the time, but next week I'm gonna have a lot of time as well. So I we should so next week on we're gonna have two blogs again next week, and of course probably Thursday we'll focus on week one. We'll just look at week one, look at them games. I probably make a few of my picks on that show, and then I start doing on the community wall. Just start checking my community wall. I'm gonna do picks. I'm gonna do predictions, all types of stuff. And you go vote now. I got some polls up. Who you think will win these divisions? I'm about to reveal um, my takes on all of those. So big show today. If you're an NFL fan, this is the place to be. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Yesterday morning had a big turnout. Yesterday morning. We touched on a few things, but the NFL is about to rule the next 6 months. So very excited for this NFL season. Um, so let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm gonna start the AFC because the AFC to me, like I've been saying all summer long, unless a team rises out of nowhere, really it's three teams in the AFC you could pretty much um, count on is going to be there: Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs. I think those three teams are clearly the best of the AFC. Then there's a little bit of a drop off after that. I guess throw Bengals in there, Houston, um, Chargers, Denver, other teams. But I think that Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City are clearly the top teams in the AFC. So I think the AFC will be a little easier to get through. The NFC was tough for me, because other than Philadelphia, every other team got somewhat question marks or just some uncertainty. So um, I struggled, basically with the wild card teams as well. So you'll be able to see that soon. But we're gonna go get into the AFC. AFC East. Let's start with the AFC East. We're gonna start from the bottom up. Uh, like I said, this was hard. Well, I got Buffalo with the division. I go ahead and throw that out there. But the other three teams, like I really struggle with. Because I think I got New England finishing last in the division, but I think they're a much improved team. I think Drake May is going to take a step forward. Um, I like Coach Drable. I think Tennessee did him wrong. Because of whatever they was. I think him and the ownership, I think, happened with that with Tennessee. But I think he's a good fit for New England because he played there as a player. So I think the Patriots are definitely, post Belichick, post Brady. I think they're going to start moving back into at least contention in the AFC. But I think this year, I think they're still about a year or so away. So I think they finished last in the division. But I like the way they're going. Number three might surprise some people. The Miami Dolphins. Um, Miami Dolphins. I just don't like. Uh, I just don't. It just the vibe is just bad. Every day you've been hearing in the off season, players saying this, saying that. Tyreek Hill pretty much in one day, out another day. Tua been trying to. I like what Tua been said in the media, but he's injury prone. Can he stay healthy? That's always the question for the Dolphins. Offensively, very talented. They did get Jalen Ramsey out of there. He was also unhappy, so something's going on in Miami, in that organization, and I think it's going to affect them on the field also. And then, like I said, the Tua situation is always uncertain. Could he stay healthy? So I got Miami finishing third in the division. So that means I got the Jets for this is second. I'm a little skeptical about the Jets as well. They did look good the preseason. Justin Fields did look good. But I just think preseason, like I said, you can overstate the preseason both ways, either good and bad. I just think um, Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, I think they're going to have to carry Justin a little bit. I think Justin should definitely lose his legs if he can on offense. Defensively, Sauce Gardner, that front line, I just think that's what's going to really carry the Jets to a decent season. Um, so I got them finishing second in the division. And of course, I said the Buffalo Bills. Clearly, unless injuries or anything else get in the way, Bills will win this division. Um, I don't want to say easily, but I just think it's a chance they can sweep the division. Josh Allen is now. I think he's going to be even more confident, winning the MVP. Uh, so I really like the Bills. I'm really high on the Bills this year again. Last year I thought they would take a step back. I think actually Diggs, losing Diggs actually I think helped the Bills morale and but I think it's a lot of one thing you got to think about the Bills this year. Coach McDermott, a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure on him this year. Even if they get to the AFC Championship game and lose, he could be gone. Because you just keep, I guess you just think you can't never break through that ceiling. So it's a lot of pressure on Coach McDermott. Unless injuries or something happen and the Bills fall short, um, he might be gone if they don't at least get to the Super Bowl. Um, and a lot of pressure on him. But other than that, Bills should be good to go. I think they win the division. So I got New England finishing fourth in the East, Miami third, Jets second, Buffalo first. Um, your girl Edis, I did see um your comments and global videos. I just wanted to finish my point. I'm from Baltimore, so Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I'm from. And my favorite team is the Ravens, of course. Even though I'm old enough, the Ravens only been here 30 years. But since they've been here, I've been a Ravens fan. Um, two Super Bowls throughout that time. Hopefully one this year. We're going to talk about them actually in a few seconds here. Uh, I wanted to look at every team's schedule as well, but I think I'd do that if somebody asks me to in the comments. If you want me to go through your team schedule, I'd do that also. But all right, AFC North. AFC North. Finishing last, I got Cleveland. Probably not a surprise to some people. Even though Cleveland, like I said, if they got a decent team on both sides of the ball. Of course, the quarterback situation, the Shador Sanders situation, everybody's overhyping it. I think I'm happy for him that he made the team. They had to trade. I knew they was going to trade or cut somebody. So Kenny Pickett's gone. He's to Las Vegas. Um, and they cut Tyler Huntley as well. So you got Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Dennis Shador, as your number three quarterback. And speaking of Flacco, me being a Ravens fan, which I just mentioned, he can throw the football. Lawson's pocket is clean. He can throw the football. Now he's not good under pressure. He's older. He can't move around as much, so he's a statue. But if he has time to throw the ball, he could get the ball out of his hands and get it to your playmaker. So Cleveland gonna have to rely on that. And then I like I said, defensively, I love Miles Garrett. I think he's one of the best defensive players in football. Um, he's gonna have a monster year. But that Cleveland defense overall is good. Um, but just in this is just a tough division. I don't see them finishing higher than last because of the other teams in this division. But Cleveland's going to be forced to be record. They're going to win some division games. This division is probably the best in football, so they're going to win some of those games in the division. They're going to win some games you probably didn't think they would win, but overall, their ceiling is just just not high enough. So I got them finishing last. Now, like I said, it got tricky a little bit after this. Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a Ravens fan. This is just shout out to my man. Shout out to my man from Jersey. My bro. He's a Steelers fan. Uh, I know some Steelers fans. That's what I'm saying. He's one of them. I probably have to reach out to him later on. But um, I guess the question with the Steelers is, what Aaron Rodgers you're going to get. Um, I guess that's the biggest question. If he's anything close to what he used to be, the Steelers will be a problem. Coach Tomlin, like I said, probably the best coach of football. Looking at what he's done over the years for the Steelers, taking those teams to the playoffs. But now it's starting to get old. A lot of even fans are saying they want to see them win a playoff game. They won a playoff game was since 2015, 2016, something like that. It's been a while. Even though they've been in the playoffs most of the time. No losing seasons for Mike Tomlin either. Um, but it's going to be interesting to see what Aaron Rodgers do. They, pretty much overhauled the offense. DJ Metcalf came in. Najee Harris gone. Um, uh, Pickens is gone to Dallas. So whole new offense. Um, whole new quarterback room other than Mason Rudolph. Whole new quarterback room on the offensive side. So the offense might get off to a slow start, but it's going to be that defense. TJ Watt got his money. He deserved it. So did Myles Garrett. Didn't mention that with the Browns. But TJ Watt, probably one of the best defensive players in the league also. Give me nightmares as a Ravens fan. Just always hoping he don't make that big disruptive play. But the Steelers, I got them to finish in third though in the division. I just think, they could be a playoff team. They could probably compete for a wild card. But I just think the teams that's ahead of them, I just think just will be a little bit better this year. Speaking of that, finishing second in the division, the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, what they got on offense. Joe Burrow, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the football. Get the ball out of his hands. Him and Chase, just like hand in hand. They just got so much chemistry going back to LSU. They real close friends. T. Higgins is a great number 2. They was able to get him locked up. They figured out the Trey Hickerson thing for now. Like I said, they basically gave him a raise for this year, but I think he's going to be gone after this year, probably a guarantee. Because if they was going to sign him, they was going to sign him now. So since they just going to give him a raise this year, which I think is benefit the team and the player because he can choose where he want to go instead of being traded somewhere that he might not want to be. So I think Cincinnati, and then he probably want to stay in Cincinnati at least for this year. So I think that works out for the team and the player. But of course, even though Hickerson, sorry, pronouncing his name wrong, even though he's a great defensive player, the rest of that Bengals defense have a lot of issues. Like I said, can't take a lot into the preseason, but their defense even looked bad in the preseason. So Bengals will probably have to average 30 points a game to actually be a contender like they did, even though they did that last year. But they're going to have to do it again. And I think this time, though, I think they'll do just enough to win. So I like the Bengals finish in second. And number 1, the Baltimore Ravens, of course, Lamar Jackson, unbelievable. But this to me, and like not just me being a Ravens fan, I'm not saying this just because I'm a Ravens fan. I always have to say that because a lot of people get emotional about their team. Um, but I really think this is the best roster in football: defense, offense, special teams, everything. Um, Derrick Henry, second year here. I think he's going to have another big season. Um, Everybody was asking about uh, DeAndre Hopkins being here. I think I'd be surprised if he played every down. I don't think he will. I think he's gonna come in mostly situational type things. Maybe big third downs. He might play here and there. I just don't think he's gonna play every snap or offense. I don't. But I think he's capable. I'm not saying he can't, but I just think he's came here more to be a possession receiver. Um, Isaiah Likely, I think he's hurt the first few weeks. So that's a big hit. But Mark Andrews, veteran, he's looking to bounce back from the embarrassing playoff drop against the Bills last year. So I think he's going to be great. And then, of course, Lamar's going to be Lamar. Kyle Hamilton, congratulations to him. He's my favorite Raven as a fan. He got an extension yesterday. Probably one of the best safeties in football that can do both play the run, play the pass, instinctful. So I'm glad we was able to wrap him up. He's probably my favorite Raven right now, other than Lamar. So big expectations for the Ravens. Of course, a lot of pressure on them. This is the year. Last year was the year. Um, so big pressure on the Ravens. But I think the regular season we got no problems. We usually win 13 games or more. I think they would do that again, and I got them finishing first. So wrap up the North in the AFC. Cleveland finishing fourth, Pittsburgh third, Cincinnati number two, Baltimore number one. That is the North. Um, I'll be right back. I'm gonna do the South and the West, and then we'll move on to the NFC. 1 second. Be right back. Thank you everybody for being here again this morning. Really appreciate it. So we're halfway through the AFC already. Um, like I said, the AFC, like I said, Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City. Then after that, you can pretty much throw everybody else in the bag. Um, so let's move on to the AFC South. The AFC South, very interesting division. Um, Finishing last, and this is sad for me to say because um, the Colts, and I'm old enough to well, I wasn't old enough, but I'm old enough to remember the Indianapolis Colts. Being a Baltimore Colts, of course, they was originated here, moved to Indianapolis in the year I was born, '83. Been there ever since. Of course, the Peyton Manning era, all we could get into all that. Of course, Jim Irsay passing away earlier this year, the owner, longtime owner of the Colts. But I just don't like what the Colts. I don't know if it's the coaching staff, ownership. I don't know, but yeah, I know Anthony Richardson. You know, which they should have known when they drafted him. He was going to take some years to develop, but they're going to go with Daniel Jones to start the season. I don't know. Like I said, I talked about this last week. I don't agree with it at all. I think they should just go ahead and ride out with Anthony Richardson, see what he give you this year. Um, like I said, raw talent. Like I said, I'm a Florida Gator fan, so I found him at the University of Florida a little bit also. He's a type of player you got to pretty much throw out there, and he'll figure it out. Well, hope he figures it out. So to me, them going to Daniel Jones, they're trying to play it too safe. And I think that's what's going to hurt them. So I got them finishing last. But talented, got talent on both sides of the ball. So they're going to be competitive to an extent, but I just think they got a ceiling, and I think they're going to finish last in the division. So that means I got the Tennessee Titans finishing third. Cam Ward out of University of Miami, he gets to start from the jump. Rookie quarterback, number one overall pick. Got some veteran receivers. Tyler Lockett is there. Calvin Ridley, two great underrated receivers. But that's going to be interesting because both of those guys are used to being sort of like a number two most of their career. So both of them being on the field at the same time, but they can run routes. They're going to definitely help out Cam. Um, Titans defense a little young. We'll see. I think it'll get better as the year go on. This is going to be an interesting team to watch. I always like to see how young quarterbacks start off, especially lately in the NFL. They start off pretty much hitting the ground running. So, but I think with the Colts going to Daniel Jones, I think they give them an opportunity to at least finish third of the division. So I got them finishing third. So second, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another interesting team. A lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence this year at quarterback. A lot of pressure on him. He was the number one pick. Had up and down last two seasons really. That playoff game still hanging over his head. Well, not really. Well, he won the game. I'm thinking about Justin Herbert. Sorry, but still, he hasn't played great the last two seasons. Of course, they got Travis Hunter. We're going to see how much both sides of the ball that he really do play. I think he could be a weapon on offense. But I think he's going to play mostly defense. That's just my opinion. But we'll see how much he play on offense as well. But I think they're going to try to keep him on defense because Jacksonville defense was so bad. And I just think he's so instinctive. Or maybe causing turnovers. I think they're going to put him on the defense side of the ball. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, this is the year he got to show you something. I think you got to have a career year for people to really believe, okay, you belong here. So, but I got them finishing second because like I said, Tennessee is pretty much young, and the Colts just a mess. So that gives Jacksonville opportunity, and I think they finished second. So I got Houston finishing first. I think out of all the divisions of football, this also sort of a no-brainer, but Houston got a lot of questions. The offensive line was bad, and they didn't really improve it that much in the offseason. CJ Stroud, I like his guts. He's been taking the lumps, but he won't probably had to take some more lumps this year. I think Tank Dell is on the shelf to begin the season as well. We'll see Joe Mixon. I always liked the Joe Mixon. We'll see what he does his second year down there. But the Houston defense is pretty underrated. I think that's what's going to be they staple this season. So I like the Texans finishing first. So I got Colts finishing last, Tennessee third, Jacksonville second. I got the Houston Texans finishing first in the division. So, all right. So that leaves the AFC West. AFC West a lot stronger than it's been over the years. But we'll see. I see some experts didn't go with the chalk, the Chiefs. But I did. The Chiefs, I got them with the division. But we'll talk about them in a second. This was tough too because I like Vegas Raiders. I like what they're doing. They went veteran though. They brought in Pete Carroll. They brought in Geno Smith, who's grown over the years and having a decent career. They just got like I said, they just got Pickett for the backup because they lost O'Connell. So the quarterback room is, Geno gonna have to carry that. Gentry, the rookie running back, I think he's going to have a monster year. He might wind up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Brock Bowers already come on the scene as one of the greatest tight ends in football already. So, but defensively, that's the issue as well. Other than Max Crosby on the defensive line, the rest of the Raiders defense is going to struggle. And unlike Cincinnati, I think somebody made this comparison yesterday. They're going to have to score a lot of points to win games. And I don't think they can do that consistently, at least not in the beginning. So I got the Vegas Raiders finishing fourth in the division. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. I like Denver. But just like how I feel about the Washington Commanders, and we'll talk about them when we get to them. Even, they had a successful year, snuck into the playoffs last year. And I think they might be a better team this year, but I just think other teams gotten better. And like I said, can you do it on a consistent basis. I like Sean Payton, but I think he's a little overrated as a coach. My opinion. I think him and Mike McCarthy basically the same guy. I've said this already before. I think basically Mike McCarthy, Green Bay's championship don't mean as much as Sean Payton winning in New Orleans. I think that's why he gets more leeway. I can say, I guess if there's a word to use, than Mike McCarthy. But they pretty much they both won one Super Bowl. Both had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Drew Brees going in the Hall of Fame. If he ain't already there, I think he's probably about to come up for his eligibility soon. Um, Aaron Rodgers, who's still playing, he was McCarthy's quarterback. Um, this is pretty much the same career, but Sean Payton get the benefit of the doubt more. Um, so I think he's a little overrated, but I think he's a great offensive mind. Not taking that away from him, but I just think he gets the benefit of the doubt too much sometimes. But Denver defense, that's what's going to be. Like I said, Denver's defense. Bo Nix, got to bring up Bo Nix. He had a great rookie season, but not a lot of playmakers around him. So the defense going to have to carry the Broncos. I think they'd be right there competing for a wild card spot again this year, but I got them finishing third in the West. LA Chargers got them finishing second. Jim Harbaugh, know what kind of coach he is, but the same with Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. I was sort of mixing them two together, um, but this is the year Justin Herbert going to have to show him something. Get the Chargers into the playoffs again, win a playoff game. Last year was a disaster in that playoff game last year. He had two really bad playoff games. So I think this is the year. It's a lot of pressure on him as well to get things done. But I like because Jim Harbaugh, a former quarterback, and just how he builds up his players. I think this is going to be the year Justin Herbert turns it around. So that's why I got the Chargers finishing second in this division. And of course, number one, Kansas City Chiefs. Just can't go against them. The dynasty continues, at least for now. Pat Mahomes, you know what you're getting with him. Andy Reid, you know what you're getting with him. But it's the Chiefs defense, especially last year. The Chiefs defense pretty much was the best side of the ball last year. So can they continue to do what they done? The news came about Rasheed Rice yesterday. He's going to miss the first 6 games. So they went out here, but Hollywood Brown will be there to start the season. Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, I think is motivated. I guess congratulations to him. He's engaged to Taylor Swift. Of course, everybody knows that. Unless you're living under a rock, you know that. But I think he's upset about how his season was last year, and he's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. So I think he's gonna come out and have a great season. And the Chiefs, you just can't go against them. They've been here the last 5-6 years. I think they win this division again. They got a lot more competition this time. I think it's going to be a little rougher for them this time. I think they might lose a division game or two this year. They might lose next Friday against the Chargers. We'll see what I pick next week. I got more to think about it, but I think they still win this division. So I got the Chiefs finishing first. So Vegas Raiders fourth, the Denver Broncos third, LA Chargers second. I got the Chiefs winning the AFC West. So we're going through the whole AFC. We're about to start the NFC. I think we're going to go backwards this time. We're going to go west first in the NFC. Like I said, this was a tough division to pick. Now, the NFC, to me, like I said, other than Philly, even though people was pointing out Philly's flaws, but I don't see a lot of them. I think, they lost some key guys, but I think the young guys that they had last year, they're still there. They get a chance to step into the fold. So I don't think Philadelphia's taking a drop off at all. But that's some experts' opinion. I'm not an expert, but I don't think Philadelphia's going to miss a beat. I think they're going to show it next Thursday night also. But we're going to start with the NFC West. This division. This was a tough one to choose, from top to bottom. Seattle Seahawks. I got them finishing last in the division. Only because I'm not gonna say only, but Coach McDonald, I know him from being a coordinator here with the Ravens defensively, so you just assume Seattle defense is going to be decent. Sam Darnold, like even though he had a career year last year, maybe you shouldn't have so many question marks about him, but I just don't think. I really believe Minnesota skill players helped him more. You know, you take a big drop off going to Seattle, so I think he's still going to play well, but I just don't think it's going to be like he was in Minnesota. So the offense could struggle a little bit. Um, I think that's what's going to be their issue. Still going to be a tough team to play. Still tough to go up there and play in Seattle. With that 12th man, you know that. Still going to be a competitive team, but I don't see them really doing a lot. I got them finishing last in the NFC West. Arizona Cardinals. This is probably one of the most interesting teams in the NFL to me. Kyler Murray, another quarterback, probably under a lot of pressure this year to show what he could do. Um, Marvin Harrison Jr., could he take the next step? He's had a decent, underrated rookie season last year. We'll see if he takes the next step. I like Connor. I like this team. Overall, offense, defensively, got some young guys. Um, Mike Gannon, can he continue to grow as a coach? But I just think they bring a little bit more to the table than Seattle does. So I got them finishing third. Now, this was tough, but I got the Niners finishing second in the West. Niners, and I guess I'm going on pedigree as well. A lot of people said, well, a lot of experts are saying, the Niners, Kyle Shanahan, that coaching staff, they get Robert Saleh back. Now defensively, they lost a lot of. They lost a lot of, or both sides. Debo's gone. He's in Washington. Ayuk is going to be gone in the first couple of weeks, injured. Um, the receiver Jennings, he's unhappy. I don't know if did he report the camp. I think he did. I don't know if he's going to play though to start the season. Brock Purdy, he paid him. I like him. I mean, he's not. He could run that offense. So I think that was smart for them to lock him up. But the key, especially on offense and for the Niners season, can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy? That's going to be the key. If he stay healthy, he unlocks that whole offense. And I think defensively they're going to be right. They're going to be good. Fred Warner's still there. So this Niners team lost barring injuries because a lot of injuries took them down last year. I think they'd be right back. Not back to the Niners, but they was probably Super Bowl contenders. But they'd be a force to be reckoned with in the NFC. So I got them at number 2 in the division. So I got the Rams finishing first. Um, Same thing, Sean McVay. Um, can Matthew Stafford stay healthy? That's going to be the question for the Rams this year. Got that back issue. That could come out of nowhere and sit you out a couple weeks. So hopefully he stays upright. Puka Nacua now is the de facto number 1. They did get Devontae Adams, which I think is an underrated signing, but I think he's going to fit in that offense very, very well. The run game, so the offense is going to come to play. Rams defense, underrated. Underrated, had a decent year last year. We'll see if they can keep that up. Still thinking about Aaron Donald. I mean, Aaron Donald was the Rams. Kind of miss him playing, see him play. But he can play. He can still go out there and play. You see, he still works out and everything. If you follow him on any social media or just a sports fan in general. But the Rams, I think it's going to be a competitive division though. But I think the Rams ease out, win the division. Them and the Niners probably battle for it. So I got the Seahawks finishing last. I got the Cardinals finishing third, Niners second, and the Rams at number 1 to win the division this year in the West. I think they won it last year also. So so like I said, barring injury, it should be the Niners and the Rams fighting that out in the West. Let's go to the NFC South. The NFC South, this was a tough one to do as well, except for the top team. But the other 3 teams, I think you can pretty much Uh, too many, a lot of question marks, a lot of question marks. So, last I got the New Orleans Saints, and one clear reason is because of the quarterback situation. They did name Spencer Rattler, which I think I talked about a little bit yesterday, as they starter. Um, uh, I'm just going to have to rely on the coaching staff. They seen him in practice. He's been there all preseason. Um, is he enough? I don't think so, but maybe the Saints do at least for now. But it's going to be that defense. The veteran Cam Jordan, can he put together another great season for the Saints? I think it's going to be that Saints defense. And on offense, Alvin Kamara, I've been screaming it all off season. He's going to have a career year for the Saints to compete. But that's a lot to ask for the veterans. So I got the Saints finishing last. I looked around and heard a lot of people talk about this team. It made me second guess myself. But I'm hope I'm wrong for Bryce Young's sake. The Carolina Panthers, I got them finish third in the South. Um, Young man, I was glad to see him fight back. He got benched last year because Carolina started off so poorly. Went to Andy Dalton. He didn't do much better. Went back to Bryce Young, and he haven't let go since. So hopefully he build on that. He come out and have a great season. They just got rid of Adam Thielen. Traded him back to Minnesota. Um, so the veteran on the receivers is gone, but still got some decent skill players there for Bryce. Offensive line got to hold up as well. Defensively, got to get better on that side of the ball, but they invested a lot into that in the draft. So Carolina, young team, but they go show some fight again this year. Going to be hard to be reckoned with from week to week. I got them finishing third though in the division. Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, I got them finish the second. Michael Penix Jr. is his time. Kirk Cousins is still there. So you got a veteran backup if you need to be, but I think Michael Penix Jr. Everything he's been through in his college career, in his career period, I think he's going to take this opportunity and run with it. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the skilled players, B.J. Robinson in the backfield. The Atlanta offense is going to go. It's going to be the defense. Can the defense step up? They did the same thing, invested a lot in the draft on the defensive side. So if Atlanta can get anything out the defense, been starving for a pass rusher. So if they hit that, Michael Penix Jr. come around, Falcons could be an interesting team this year to watch out for. I got to finish in second. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, and the Bucks finishing first in the division again. Very underrated team. Baker Mayfield found a home in Tampa. I mentioned that yesterday. I'm grateful to see that. The rough times he had at Cleveland, I think the Browns should have held on to him personally. Then after that, he sort of bounced around the league, looked like that was going to be the rest of his career, but got to Tampa, got the opportunity. He took advantage of it, got through to the playoffs. The only thing with Tampa is it seemed like just certain weeks they just played out of the competition. Speaking of Atlanta, they got swept by Atlanta last year in the division. Lost some games. They wasn't, but then they beat Detroit last year. So they're an up and down team. So if they can fix that. I like Todd Bowles. He's aggressive, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I don't see any of the other teams really. I wouldn't say not challenging Tampa, but enough to win this division. I got the Buccaneers winning the South. So we got Saints at fourth. Third, Carolina Panthers. Second, Atlanta Falcons. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the AFC South. So let's go to the North. So we're almost done. We're halfway through the NFC. Another tough division here. It was tough to pick. But I got the Bears finishing fourth. And it's hard. You can really... I see the potential of this team. Caleb Williams, I just still think he needs more work. I think he's gonna have a better year than he did last year, than his rookie year. Um, Defensively for the Bears, they got to figure some things out on that side, but just a tough division to be in. Uh, I think Minnesota, even though I'm not sure about JJ McCarthy, because that's why I was struggling between those two teams. So I just gave away Minnesota finishing third, but I just think Minnesota on talent wise, just all over the field. Even if I think JJ will get carried a little bit um, and do enough to beat to get to at least third in the division. So I got the Bears finishing fourth. I got the Minnesota Vikings finishing second. I mean third. I just mentioned why. Just too much talent. Um, but I think they sort of take a step back. I don't think they win 14 games this year, but um, they're gonna be a problem every week, you know. So I got them finishing third. But of course, the big question: JJ McCarthy. What is he? This is really his rookie year in a way because he didn't play last year. But um, other than that, like if he had Sam Donald again, I probably would pick them to finish at least second in the division. But just for the certainty of JJ, I got to put them at third. Um, Green Bay Packers. Um, I mean, I've been watching a lot of I watch a lot of sports stuff, a lot of sports news, sports in the morning, pundits. You can name the channels: ESPN, Fox Sports, FS1, whatever. I watch everybody here and there, and everybody said that they want to crown the Packers. I don't know why. Like I don't understand it. I mean, I like Jordan Love too. I think this Packers team is definitely capable of doing what people say they're going to do. But why everybody just think like people pick this, still picking this team to win the Super Bowl again? I like you can't. Like, what evidence do you have? Unless Jordan Love, which is a great quarterback, he's pretty much out over. Um, he exceeded my expectations, you know, from this point so far. But the turnovers, little injury prone as well. So and to those 2 days change. I got Green Bay right where I think they should be. I got to finish second in the division though because of the questions of Minnesota and Chicago. Um, and I think Green Bay gonna have another good year. Brandon Jacobs was huge last year in the backfield for Green Bay. That defense, they lost some guys, but that defense is young and flies around. So um, Jordan Love just got to protect the ball. If he does that, Packers they could be a contender in the NFC, but uh, Super Bowl and all that stuff, I can't go that far yet. But I got them finishing second in the North, and then the Detroit Lions, of course. Um, uh, Jared Goff, like I said, has been somebody I criticized over the years, but since he's been in Detroit, he's been great. Um, uh, I'm trying to think of the coach name. He's not coming to my head right now. Um, but he's been great. He's been set the culture there for Detroit. It's definitely a different Detroit culture now. They're not the laughable Lions that's we seen over the years. This is a legit team. Gibbs and Sonic and Knuckles out the backfield. Their offense is going to come to play. Defensively, some questions. Aiden Hutchinson's back. Can he have a career year for the Lions? Lost. They had injuries last year. They caught up to them in the playoffs last year. But I think there's sort of a little bit of pressure on Detroit too because they got expectations on them. A lot of people are also doubting them as well, thinking they basically missed their window. I don't think so. I think the Lions are still a contender in the NFC. So I got them winning the North. And I don't think it's gonna come down to the last week of the season like it did last year either. I think they'll wrap it up maybe 2 weeks before the season's over with. So Bears finishing fourth. Um, Shout out to my man Caper if you listening. I want to get your take on your Bears. I know you're a Bears fan. Um, I think they, like I said, we could go ceiling, floor, and all that with all these teams. I think the Bears would surprise me if they was a playoff team, but it also would surprise me if they finished last in the division. I just think, um, I really think Caleb needs more time. I think he needs another year to get under his belt. So I think this year they're gonna fall a little short. But when can't argue with you if you think that because some people got this team as a playoff team. So Minnesota third, like I said, Minnesota is capable with the talent they have. If JJ McCarthy have a year like Donald did or more, they'd be a contender. Green Bay, like I said, this was a tough division to go over. Jordan Love, if he stay healthy and don't turn the ball over, Packers is just as good as any team. You put them against a lot of teams in this division and in the conference. And the Lions, I just think the Lions have established this division for now until further notice. So I got them finishing first. All right, so we're finally down to our last division, the NFC East, and then we'll talk who I think will win some awards, and then we'll go into our playoff predictions. Um, New York Giants, and last, but just like how I feel about the Titans in the NFC, I think that's where the Giants are sort of at. Jackson Dart showed you something in the preseason. They're gonna start with Russ, which I think is smart. I still like Jameis Winston. He turns the ball over a lot, which you can't do. That's pretty much his issue. But when he's upright, he can fling that ball also. But I think if Russ struggles, I think they're gonna go right to Dart. I think Jameis just there before it's emergencies. He might get a chance to play. But I think if Russ get hurt or he struggles, I think they're gonna go to Jackson Dart. And then if something happened to him, then Jameis might get a chance. But Malik Neighbors, great young receiver. I think he's going to come back strong this year as well. Look at the year he had last year with the quarterbacks he had. They cut Tommy DeVito, uh, the guy, the Italian quarterback. I think New England picked him up. I think I just saw that this morning. New England picked him up off waivers. Um, but he had him at quarterback last year. Look what year that Malik had. Um, the kid from Penn State, the linebacker. Um, already get some rookie lumps, but I think he's going to be an awesome player. I think that Giants defense is going to be underrated as well. I think they're going to cause some problems. They might give Philly a game. I think they'll win a couple of division games this year. I like the way the Giants going. Coach Dayball, though, I think he's safe. I guess by what you've seen with the Giants done over the last few years, I think the pressure's off of him. I think they still want to see an improvement, but I like the way the Giants going. But they still about a year or two away, so they finish it last this year in the East, in my opinion. Dallas Cowboys, man. Dallas Cowboys. What can you say? A mess down there as well. Of course, let's just get the Micah Parsons thing out the way. I think I made my prediction yesterday. I think they're going to sign him next week, either Wednesday or the night of the game. That's what I think Dallas is going to do. Um, but right now, that prediction don't seem right because, like I said, the agent not talking to Jerry Jones at all. Micah's the agent. There's no talks whatsoever, so you only got a week left. I think Jerry's going to try to, because like I said, Jerry likes to be in the news. He likes what the Dallas Cowboys are talked about. That to me, I'm sorry, but that means more than went into him, um, which is crazy. Dallas, going back to the '90s, which has been 30 years now, the dynasty that they had. That's pretty much when I started watching football. But offensively, they should be fine. George Pickens, still, I like. He's talented, but we'll see how he fits in with the Cowboys. Um, CD Lamb, probably the best receiver in football to a lot of people. But the question is, of course, Dak Prescott, can he stay healthy? If he can, Dallas will be a problem for some few teams. They still got some talent on the defensive side of the ball, even if Micah's not there. Diggs is back in the secondary. They got some decent linebackers. Running game, offensively, that's the only weakness for the Cowboys, which has been a weakness the last few years. But if Dak stay healthy, they're going to be an issue. They've caused some problems, but I still think they got a ceiling. They've finished third in the division. Washington Commanders. I got them finishing second in the East. Um, some people think they're ready to take the to challenge Philadelphia for this division and for the conference. Got to the NFC Championship game last year. Played them tough in that game. I give them that. But I think them signing Terry was huge. I had a Commanders fan in my chat a couple weeks ago. We was going back and forth about the Commanders, and I'm gonna say this again about them. This is my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna try to explain it again. I think they'll be a better team this year, but I don't necessarily guarantee that they're gonna get to the NFC Championship. And I mean that by teams in the NFC have gotten better. Um, I think they beat Detroit fair and square, but Detroit they had some injuries. Um, and but I give them this. I think just like I just went through the North, I just went through the South and the West. All these teams got questions. Um, Washington, I think defensively, they lack a little bit. Sometimes they give a lot of points. Um, and I think Terry now with Debo there. This is I was about to say Terry got a lot of pressure on, but maybe Debo could take the pressure off of him. Um, Maybe he get more easy catches, than he did last year. Jalen Daniels, I have no question about him. He's going to get better as the years go on. But I just think, the other teams in the conference, and the Eagles, of course. I wouldn't be shocked if they get that. I wouldn't be shocked if they make the Super Bowl. But I guess I'm just speaking more realistically, and if I was a fan, you know, days take time. Days take time. I know as fans, especially if you haven't won in a long time, you want it to happen when you that close. You just want it to happen. You want to believe it's going to happen. Because honestly, as a Ravens fan, I feel the same way. But um, just don't be disappointed in them. Don't give up on them. They gotta be patient with this team. Sometimes you just gotta be patient in all sports. Some owners, you get there twice and then they break the whole thing up. No, I think you got to keep this team together. Eventually, they'll break through. I think that's what Washington is doing. So if they don't get to the NFC Championship, it's not a failure to me. Um, I can't speak for the players in that locker room. As a Commanders fan, I'm not speaking for you guys either. If you feel like it'll be a failure, I get it. But I'm just saying, y'all got a great thing going. Ownership has changed. This team is ready to be a legit contender for years to come. So you just gotta be patient. It could be this year though. It could be this year, but if it's not, just stay patient. So that's what I think about the Commanders, and that's why I think um, they'll probably be back in the playoffs again. But NFC Championship game is a maybe, but don't be upset if they don't get there. Um, and of course, I got the Eagles finishing first in the division, defending champions. Um, some people think it's some chink in the armor. I don't. I think the Eagles. Um, I don't want to say a perfect team, but they got everything they need. The receivers on offense, AJ Brown, um, Smith on the other side. Saquon Barkley is a Hall of Fame running back. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there already. Um, to me, he was the catalyst. He might not have 2,000 yards, but he give you 1,500 again. Jalen Hurts, maybe who's underrated, man. They've been disrespecting Jalen. I gotta give it to him. They've been disrespecting him. I think they got him 19th um, overall players. I think as far as quarterbacks, I think they got him like 10th or 11th or something like that. All these lists that but he's showed a lot of maturity. Even going back to his college days, look at what happened to him. He in Alabama, he's the perennial starter. Tua comes, takes his job. He transferred to Oklahoma. Does pretty decent there. I think he lost his job there, right? Um, did he lose his job to somebody there? But he had some issues there also. Get drafted. I think he was a third round pick. Eagles believe in him. Mike Sirianni, the coach. I like him. I think he's what Philadelphia needs. He speaks what he needs to speak. But this Eagles team, definitely on the cusp of repeating. NFC, like I said, there's a lot of contenders you could say. Washington is one of them. Detroit. I guess I'd go Tampa. The Rams gave them a tough go in the playoffs last year. Um, so you got teams that maybe can dethrone the Eagles, but I just think putting up against any of these teams, I think they're the best team in the NFC and possibly the NFL. They're the defending champions. They deserve all the credit. So I got the Eagles finishing first in the division. So we went through all the divisions. Great. Giants fourth, Dallas Cowboys third, Commanders second. I got the Eagles winning the East in first place. So, all right. So we're done going through all the divisions. Now we're gonna talk playoffs and wild card teams. But first we're gonna do who I think will win these awards. Of course, the four main ones. There's a whole lot of other awards. Coach of the Year. I didn't even do Coach of the Year. I guess I'll throw that take out there as well. Okay, MVP. Who I think will win MVP this year? According to what I think is going to happen, I think Joe Burrow will win it. I think he would have won it last year if they'd have just made the playoffs. I think they will this year. So that's why I think he'll win it. I think he'll have even better numbers than he did last year. I think he's going to throw for another 40 touchdown season with 4,000 yards easily. And I think the Bengals are going to win more. So I think he will win the MVP. Of course, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think Jalen Hurts will deserve it. Will get some votes. Weirdly, Pat, of course, Pat Mahomes, but somebody throughout Baker Mayfield. I think that's a possibility. If Tampa somehow, I think Tampa will have to finish like either second or first in the NFC though, for Baker to get some consideration. But Baker had 40 touchdowns and 44,000 yards last year. So if he put up another year like that and Tampa finish high in the NFC, I think he got a possibility as well. But I think Joe going to have the best quarterback season. MVP is an unofficial quarterback award. Cincinnati make the playoffs. I think that'll be enough. I think he'll win the MVP. Defensive player of the year, Aiden Hutchinson for Detroit. Seeing a few things on him, been reading a lot of things on him. Of course, coming back from that injury, I think he's going to be motivated. I think they're going to need him to have a defensive player of the year type year. And I think Detroit going to win also. So I think that'll help his cause. So I got Aiden Hutchinson winning defensive player of the year. But, of course, notable names, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, they'll be there. Trey Hickerson might get some votes. Micah if he's playing this year. So there's a lot of defensive guys that are challenged. But I think because Detroit will win, and I think he's going to have a monster year, I think he will win defensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year. Now, I did throw out Gentry, the running back from Vegas. But I think it's going to be Cam Ward because I think he's going to do enough. I think he's going to have Tennessee maybe close to a wild card. And he's a quarterback. Like I said, quarterback always get first dibs. So I think he's going to get offensive rookie of the year. The defensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go with Travis Hunter. Because I really think Jacksonville is going to use him on the defense side of the ball. I think he'll have a few interceptions, a few big plays on that side of the ball. I think he'll play a little offense, but I think he's going to mainly be on the defensive side. That's just my opinion. But we'll see what the Jags do with him. But I think he will win defensive rookie of the year. Coach of the year, I didn't write it down. But going off what I think is going to go down this year, you know who I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Todd Bowles. I'm gonna go with Todd Bowles because I think Tampa has the potential to finish really high in the NFC. I'm gonna go with him. But usually, Coach of the Year is given to a team that overachieves. So all the teams I had making the playoffs. So I say him and the Jets coach. Whoever from Detroit, what's his name? Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, I think he would be a contender for it this year also. All right, so they are my award winners. We're an hour in. We're almost done here. Let's start the AFC with the playoffs. Let's start the AFC, and again, I'm gonna start from the bottom to the top. Uh, AFC, the seventh seed. So that's the bottom. We still start from the bottom and go up. This might surprise some people. I got the Jets. I got the Jets backing into the playoffs. I got the New York Jets backing into the playoffs, getting that last seed. Like I said, I know they didn't look good this preseason. Um, Justin Fields got a lot to prove, but I think he's going to somehow get it together. I think this Jets defense is going to carry him the first part of the year, and they do enough. I think the AFC East, other than Buffalo, is a mess. They schedule probably a little easier. I got the Jets backing into the playoffs and getting that seventh seed. Number six seed in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals. Like I said I think they will make the playoffs. I think they win like 10 games, maybe 11. The defense is going to lose to some games again, but I think the offense is going to win a lot more games this year than they did last year. Joe Burrow is going to have another monster year. I think he will be the MVP, and I think that will get the Bengals into the playoffs. I got them getting the sixth seed in the AFC. Last wild card spot, well, not the last one, the first one. I'm gonna go with the LA Chargers. I also believe um, they're going to take a step forward this year. Particularly Justin Herbert. Well, he better because, like I said, he's under a lot of pressure. Jim Harbaugh teams usually get better every year. Um, I like what they did in the offseason, helping that offense defensively. James and everybody else, so that Charger defense is underrated. I think they'll get the fifth seed in the AFC. So you know what my top four teams is if you've been here. Um, my division winners: Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. Not particularly in order, but it really is. Because number four, I got Houston. Uh, Texas, like I said, hopefully CJ Stroud can last the season. That offensive line was an issue. But I still think they're the best team in the South. So they'd be the only, yeah, they're the only South team that's going to make it out of the division. Um, and I think they would be the fourth seed. Number three, the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win the third seed. I think because, like I said, their division is much tougher. I think they're going to lose a couple of division games this year. But I think they're going to get stronger as the season goes on. But I still think they're going to fall short of the one seed. They was a one seed last. They won 15 games last year, which sounds surprising. But I just think this top part of the schedule, I think it's going to hurt them, and then they finish strong at the end of the season. But I think they'd be the third seed. So I got the Ravens as the second seed. Ravens play the Bills week one. That's a huge, huge game because I think that might determine the tiebreaker. But honestly, well, as a Ravens fan, of course, I think the Ravens will win that game. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think they'll win it. But I think Buffalo, because they're in the weaker division, I think the Ravens, I think we might lose a couple of division games. We might lose to Pittsburgh once. We might lose to Cincinnati once. Might even lose to Cleveland. We might split. That's how strong this division is. Wouldn't be surprised if we split, but still win the division. But I think Buffalo's division is so much easier. Buffalo could be the team that win 15 games this year just because of I think they might sweep their division. And so I got the Bills being the one seed in the AFC. Other teams that could make it, honorable missions, I guess. Like I said, I got the Jets in. The Steelers, yeah. You think Buffalo going to take a step back? That's possible. But I just think that division though, like look at the other teams in that division. I think they go at least win that division. In my opinion. I like the Jets though. Like I said, I think the Jets will be a surprise. But Miami is a mess to me, and New England is just New England. Okay, some people picked I see somebody picked New England to win the division. I did. I like the patch. I like how they going. I just think it's like I said. I just think y'all need another year to get things together. I like the Coach Drabel. Drake May is going to take a step forward. Y'all going to be a good team. Yeah, I think y'all could compete for a wild card possibly also. But I just think Oh, you're a Ravens fan. So am I. So we agree. So am I. I'm a Ravens fan. So am I. Yeah, the Bills. But that's why we got to win that game Sunday night. Well, next Sunday night we got to win that game because I think it's going to help with tiebreakers. Um, but like I said, I just think the Bills are the easier division. Uh, NFC. Uh, Green Bay. I got them getting the last seed again, like they did last year. They get that seventh seed in the NFC. Niners, I think they bounce back. I think they get the sixth seed. Commanders, they'd be that top wild card seed again. So they'd be in the same position they was in last year to maybe make a run again. Um, Rams winning the West, they'd be the fourth seed. I got Tampa winning the South, they'd be the third seed. I got Detroit getting that second seed. I think the Eagles again will be the one seed in the NFC. Um, yeah, so that's my playoff predictions there. Um, but like I said, the NFL, that's why the NFL is so great. It's so many, it's no horrible teams. It's only team that I really have no faith in at all this year at all in any capacity. It's probably the Saints and the Colts. I'm gonna throw the Colts in that category as well. Um, yeah, I like Denver also. I think I don't have them making the playoffs. I think they could, but like I said, I like I said, that division, they in the like that West, that AFC West is tough. Yeah, Saints. Yeah, the Saints. I don't see them winning much at all this year. I can't even come up with any type of argument. They defense is decent. Like I said, their defense will have to be out of this world, and Alvin Kamara will have to have a awesome year to carry that quarterback Rattler and that offense around. I don't think they'll be able to score points. That's what will be their issue. Um, so yeah, I would be shocked if they just win one game. You know, Denver, like I said, I like Denver. I think they can still make the playoffs again. I just think they got a harder schedule this year, and I like the Chargers over Denver a little slightly. So that's why I got Denver slightly just missing the playoffs, but they could get in again. They could be. So they both made it last year. They both made the playoffs last year, so that can happen again this year also. But usually, I see that well, it's a trend in the NFL. It's usually like two or three new playoff teams every year. So that's why the Jets, the Bengals, teams that didn't make it last year, the Niners in the NFC. Um, so we'll see about that. But the Saints, yeah, the Saints. I don't. I have no faith in the Saints. Period. At all. At any capacity at all. All right. Well, Zay, you're a Ravens fan, so I'm about to be somewhat of a homer now. But I don't think it's a home. I really believe this. It's not just because I'm a Ravens fan. AFC Championship, I think it's going to be us and the Bills. Um, I think it's going to be us and the Bills in the AFC Championship game. Yeah, I think the Steelers might make it too. I think if Aaron Rodgers be any of the old Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers going to be an issue. We Ravens fans, we understand. The Steelers are going to be it's going to be an issue. But I got us going against the Bills in the AFC Championship game this year. Then I got Detroit and Philly. I picked that last year. Detroit fell short. Like I said, I like Washington. A lot of people like Washington. I do like Washington too, but I just think you got to go through some growing pains. So I think like I said, I don't think they're gonna make it back to the FC Championship game. But then the next year, they might be a legit contender. I still think they're a contender this year. So Super Bowl 60. I think the Eagles get back, and I think we get there, the Ravens, and I think we stop them from repeating. So I got us winning the championship this year. That's how I see it going down. I think the Eagles get back, but I think the Ravens will stop them from going back to back. We get it. Finally break through. We finally get through. And I'm a Ravens fan, I admit. I'm a Ravens fan, but I really believe if we stay healthy, we got the best roster in football. Lamar is uh, the best dual quarterback probably of all time. And I think that's going to show this year. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have some big catches for us, especially in the playoffs. Um, But I think, like I said, Isaiah likely, I think, is about to take that next step. I agree. I think John Harbaugh, sometimes some of the stuff he does make me scratch my head. Some of the times he go for too much, like little things like that. Yeah, you got to cut that out. But I agree, our culture got to be better, especially in the playoffs. Our play calling was horrible in that Buffalo game. Um, and even if we go back 2 years ago in the AFC Championship against Kansas City, I didn't understand what we was doing um, in that game. So yeah, the coaching definitely got to step it up. And he's on. I don't want to say he's on the hot seat because I don't think they'll fire him. But um, I'm just going to speak from a fan's perspective. A lot of people wanted him fired after that Kansas City loss in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. A lot of people wanted John gone. But I was one of the fans that said no. He's still a good coach. Um, and I believe in stability. And I guess at that time, like who else you gonna get that's gonna do a better job immediately? So, but yeah, he has to. I'm putting it all on John to definitely coach better. And if he does, we should be champions, like flat out. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of fans feel that way. If we don't get to the Super Bowl, they might. And the Ravens, they loyal to their coaches. Like I said, we only had what two in our well, three because we had Ted Marshall Broder to start our franchise. Then it was Brian Billick, and then it was John. So we one of those teams that don't make a lot of changes up top. But I can't argue. If we don't make the Super Bowl, it will be a disappointment. And if they let him go, I'm not gonna really I'm not gonna really be mad about it. But uh, yeah, I doubt they will too. Even if we uh yeah, I don't see him doing it either. Just by our history, I don't see him doing it unless like I'm just throwing that just a crazy day like a coach coming over like Nick Saban or a big time coach decides they want to coach and they can get him, then they might make the change. But other than that, I don't think they will either. Uh, but I really believe it. It's not just because I'm a Ravens fan. I really think this is the year to get through because I think Kansas City, even though they improve, I think um, just the years to keep going back to back. I think it's wearing on them. I think that's why they lost last year. Philadelphia is going to be an issue for some years as well, as far as on the NFC side. But I think it's between us and the Bills. We had some problems with the Bills in the playoffs also, but I think we get over that hump in the AFC Championship game, and we get to the Super Bowl, and then we do great against NFC teams anyway. So I think the Super Bowl would be a win for us also. So that's how I see it going down this year. Um, and yes, I admit I'm a Ravens fan, but I think we're gonna do it this year. Right, right. Like if Nick Saban decides he want to come out of retirement or something like that, and I'm just, it's other coaches out there. Um, but only the one thing I give John credit for, he like I said, he has stabilized things. Um, so that's why. But at the same time, this is a make it or break it league. I like that we're not, you know, one of those franchises that just do a lot of crazy things and hire three, four coaches every year. So I like that part. But at the same time, is this your ceiling? The goal is to win the Super Bowl. So if you don't do that, we probably will have to move on. So, or let's just say, uh, we healthy, but we don't win the division or something like that. I also think that the seat will get a little hot for them. Let's just say if Cincinnati wins the division over us, or if Pittsburgh, you know. So um, definitely something to look out for. Definitely something to look out for. Um, just to, since we talking Ravens, and I'm a Ravens fan, so I don't mind talking Ravens all day. Um, the kicking looked good in the preseason. Justin Tucker, that was we had to move on. I didn't think they was going to cut him. I just thought they would maybe suspend him, but that's another thing the Ravens do. They don't play around with stuff like that. So yeah, man. He looks good, man. So hopefully, yeah, I saw that. Yep, from 61. Yep, yeah, yeah. So long as And maybe it's just a thing, Justin been here so long, but that, like you said, Zay, I think I have to agree. Sometimes you just got to make a change. It's not even just because the trouble Justin Tucker was in. He started to struggle, um, in bad times as well. But he's still the greatest kicker I've ever seen of all time to me. Um, but it was just time to move on. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did lose a couple games last year. He was missing extra points. And now, now we can speculate. We know why. Maybe, this was coming down the pipe and it was on his mind. We can break that down all day. But um, honestly, I just hate to see anybody just, even if some of that stuff was true, yeah, maybe he deserves some punishment. But I just don't like the people with careers in like that. Like Deshaun Watson, for example. I think his career might be over. Like somebody like that. He did some of the stuff that Justin's supposedly done, but um, he was at the top of his career as a quarterback. Cleveland. That's why Cleveland gave up everything they did to get him. Um, but the injuries and uh, the off the field stuff, I think Cleveland is definitely done with him. Um, you think somebody might sign Watson, or I think somebody might pick up Justin as well, because he haven't been well. What did he got? 10 games? Yeah, he got 10 games from the NFL. Yeah, yeah. I think somebody might sign him right after his suspension is up. Because teams going to need. He's still better than most of the kickers in the league. So um, a team might be in contention and the kicker is so. They might bring Justin in. I believe that. I also believe that. I believe that as well. Yeah, I believe they bring him in. All right, I'm kind of out of time. I got some things I got to do, but I'm so glad I had fun this morning. Sorry, Jay, I don't know how long you was here. I pretty much went through all the teams, went through all my predictions, but as a fellow Ravens fan, man, we got this year, man. We got it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my faith in that. We gonna win Sunday night to set the tone for the season. Um, like I said, the division is gonna be tough. I think Cincinnati's gonna be tough. The Steelers as well. Even Cleveland, I think Cleveland might sneak in the game. I think we're gonna go like maybe 5-1 in the division, maybe 5-1, 4-2 at the worst. We can't afford to go 3-3 in the division, so we're gonna have to sweep one of those teams. It probably mostly likely be Cleveland, um, because Pittsburgh always plays us tough, and then the Bengals offense. Even some of the games we had last year. Yeah, I don't even. We lost to them last year, which I think what Jameis got us. I couldn't believe that. I almost broke my TV about that game when Jameis Winston got us last year. But no, if it's Joe, um, so you think we'll sweep the Browns and the Bengals? Okay, I see that, and then we probably split with Pittsburgh, maybe. I hope we sweep all of them. I'm just trying to be realistic here. That's why I say 5-1 in the division. We'll lose one of the off division games. You know, yeah, lost it. Yeah, that sounds more logical. Steelers just plays us like we know how that rivalry is. It's just we did they just plays us tough no matter what's going on. They just play us tough. So yeah, we might split with them. Probably beat them at home and they beat us in Pittsburgh. Maybe it'll go like that, and then we'll be all right after that. Um, and then if they make the playoffs, we'll beat them in the playoffs. you know. But yeah, you're right. We always lose to them at least once, and then they, like the year before when they beat us twice. Even that second game don't count. That's why I was arguing with the Steelers fan. Like that second, yeah, y'all beat us that last year. We ain't play nobody. We had them the 1 seed locked up. We didn't need that game. I still wanted to win that game because I ain't want Steelers to say the fans to say, well, we swept y'all last year. But that last game didn't count. The year before when we got the 1 seed and we played them in the last week of the season, it was Steelers fans still running their mouth about that. I was like, man, but they missed the playoffs because they needed somebody to win or something. Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, I know a lot of Steelers fans, so I get a lot of flack, from them sometimes. So But it's fun. I like, it's all in fun though. But I respect them as an organization. I put it that way. I respect them as an organization. Just what they've done over the years. Even going back to their long history in the '70s and all that. So, um, and they, like I said, Mike Tomlin's probably like to me the best coach in football in my opinion. So I give them their credit, but we're gonna get them this year also. We're gonna put them on the chopping block also. But Zay, I got a bro, man. Thank you for coming here, supporting, bro. You made this show great. It was good to go back and forth with you. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll be back next week. We'll get into week 1 games and other sports stuff. If something come up, we'll look at baseball. I'm a baseball fan, so I'll talk a little baseball, NBA, if there's any news in that. But we'll focus next week. We'll focus on week 1. Probably next day. I'll probably do 2 shows again next week, Wednesday and Thursday morning. And my channel, I'll do video game stuff as well. So I'll be doing some stuff on that today. And I'll be live Friday night. I'm gonna play that New Year's Award live Friday night. So thanks, man. Go Ravens. It was good to see a fellow Ravens fan. I never had a Ravens fan in my chat. So Zay, you definitely I'm definitely not gonna forget you, bro. You have a good rest of the day, man. I don't go back to work till Sunday, so I'm gonna try to put out a lot of content today. Thank you guys for joining me. Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. They're going to beat the Eagles, stop them from winning, going back to back. That's my prediction. Watch the playback if you want to know all my other predictions. I start doing my picks and all that on my community wall this year. Shout out to you, Zay. Shout out to everybody that came through. I'm Troy West saying thank you so much for watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. It's going to be a great NFL season. Can't wait for it. Next Thursday night, Eagles kicks us off against the Dallas Cowboys. And I can't wait for it. Y'all have a great rest of the week. I'll see y'all Friday night. And peace and love, everybody. Thank you, Zay. Peace out, bro. Thank you for coming through.